What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. So it looks like it is finally time. Yes, the Senate is going to push forward with this $1.2 trillion infrastructure package. That is good news. Now, I want to just be 100% clear on something. I personally believe that the infrastructure package is a good package. This is something, this bipartisan bill, this is going to help out the American people and the economy in the future, not today. But in order to get the $3.5 trillion infrastructure package, that stimulus package, that American Families Plan, like they're calling it, in order to get that, we have to pass the bipartisan bill. So that is the only reason why I believe many lawmakers are even going to support this. It's just because they understand that is the prerequisite. We have to get that done in order to get more out of the $3.5 trillion package that Senator Bernie Sanders is putting together. So here's what we know. The Senate, they will be in Washington until both infrastructure package get finalized. According to Senator Chuck Schumer, he says the longer it takes to finish the bill, the longer we will be here. That is a direct quote. That means that if they are going to debate this, if they're going to contest this and argue over the little things, then they will stay in Washington. They will not be able to go home to their families and work with their constituents. They will not be able to take a vacation. They will have to stay in Washington, which is not going to be a good look. Also, what we know is that today, there are actually two new amendments that were added to the infrastructure bill through the Senate. They did adopt these two amendments. One is for funding for Native American healthcare facilities, and the other one, and these are very modest, they're not very big, the other one is for telecommunication workforce. Okay, that was actually brought to the Senate by Republican John Thune. So, not only is the Senate working to pass the $1.2 trillion infrastructure package, which again, it looks like all indications point to this is going to pass. That is good. We need it to pass in order to move on to the $3.5 trillion infrastructure package. What I can tell you right now is that $3.5 trillion budget reconciliation bill, this one, well, according to multiple sources, lawmakers are already making cuts. Yes, this is true. According to multiple sources, they are saying that right now, and this is multiple reports as well, are indicating that Congress is already planning deep cuts to President Biden's $30 billion plan to prevent any future pandemics. So, the thinking behind this is if they cut or reduce the overall size of the $3.5 trillion infrastructure bill, this is that that budget reconciliation Democrat-only proposal, well, this would make it more appealing to moderates. That is Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema. However, progressives are also calling and saying that they want the bill to be much larger. It needs to be bigger. It needs to be, more grand in scale. Everything needs to be, 2 times what it is. Well, we will see who wins this battle. However, last time who won this battle was Senator Joe Manchin. He won the battle. He was the one that brought unemployment benefits from $400 per week down to $300. It also went from ending on August 30th to September 6th, one more week. However, that still doesn't really make up the difference. It was still a smaller package. He also was the one that brought down who actually qualified for the $1,400 stimulus checks. That was Senator Joe Manchin. Well, what we know is that he actually has a lot of pull, and I want to break down what is actually coming for him or somebody in his family from this package. So let's get into what first we need to know about this. What we know right now is that the $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill, this is going to pass. Some are calling this and saying that we need more assistance because right now what has been taken away from the previous stimulus packages is not going to really benefit us immediately. So, and just so you have an idea, $205 billion was taken away from our previously allocated stimulus package in order to be repurposed here on this $1.2 trillion infrastructure bill. We know that $31.1 billion was taken back from the EIDL loan program. So if any of you took my advice and you were self-employed, you were a gig worker, and you went and applied for the EIDL loan, even if you didn't take the loan, they had a $1,000 cash advance that you could get. Well, that initially was supposed to be up to $10,000 cash advance. It's $1,000 per employee. You are considered an employee if you work there. Your spouse could be considered an employee as well. So you could automatically get $2,000. However, that is not the way it worked out. The Small Business Association didn't provide up $1,000 per employee. It was just a $1,000 cash advance. So there's still $31.1 billion sitting in this account doing absolutely nothing, yet businesses could have used it. We know there's $8.2 billion from the Employee Retention Tax Credit. We know there's $5.9 billion from the Small Business Administration. This is aside. This is more like actual small business stuff, not technically the EIDL loans and not the PPP program as well. There's also $3.2 billion for the airline industry support to help keep workers employed. Initially, we thought this money was just blown through very quickly. However, there's over $3 billion still sitting in this account, and yet there are still many airline workers that aren't back at work. So it's kind of interesting how that all went about. And there's about another $1.4 billion from the Economic Stabilization Fund. That's a total of about $50 billion from just these programs alone. So we will see what happens, but as of right now, some are a little skeptical where we're going to go with this this $1.2 trillion infrastructure package before, especially when Republicans know the $3.5 trillion package is coming right down their throats very soon. Now, to make things a little more interesting, let's talk about Senator Joe Manchin. First, Senator Joe Manchin was able to get about $1 billion, I think it's a little bit over $1 billion, to go to the Appalachian Regional Commission. Okay, what is that? Honestly, have no clue. But his wife, Gail Connolly Manchin, is actually one of the co-chairs of that commission. So, Joe Manchin, yes, he was able to get $1 billion over to the Appalachian Regional Commission, where his wife is a co-chair. Now, that's interesting to me. Now I'm going to do some more research to figure out what exactly that is. I didn't do that yet. I just thought, you know what? That's very interesting that he was able to get $1 billion over to something that his wife is a part of. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. Do you think this is right? Do you think this should be acceptable? Because that's what's happening. Now, in other news, the IRS, they stated today that there has been a glitch in their system preventing child tax credit payments going to families with an immigrant spouse. Now, in a statement from the IRS, they said, and I quote, "The IRS is aware some taxpayers have filed tax returns with ITIN numbers did not receive their child tax credit payment for July. These taxpayers will start receiving payments in August, and all impacted taxpayers will receive their July payment." So, even if you missed your payment for whatever reason, the IRS is standing behind it and saying that you will receive it. You may get it in August. You may get it as a kind of lump sum. However, the expectation is at this point it would actually come as a July payment and an August payment. So you'd get two different payments, not one. All right? So just keep that in mind. Now, I want to touch on the stimulus check issue right now. What we're hearing is that right now, with COVID cases increasing, all stimulus programs pretty much ending, right? We got the unemployment ending, we got the eviction moratorium ending, right? President Biden has been trying to work with the CDC, according to reports, and the CDC says they have no legal right to actually extend the eviction moratorium any further. However, some reports say that they do, they just have to go kind of at a roundabout way, but according to the White House, according to multiple reports, the White House does not want to do this, as multiple lawmakers do not want to keep extending this because it's just kicking the can down the road. President Biden did say he wants to speed up the release of the rental assistance funds. However, that is all on the states. What I can tell you right now is President Biden is working on a bunch of different things. However, he's not having success with a lot of them. Even the reports of he's actually losing, he's not looking so great right now. His approval rating keeps on dropping, and that's not to say that he's doing a horrible job, but it's to say that the American people, they're not really satisfied with where he's at. So whether you like what he's doing or you don't, the rate does keep dropping, and this is something that we've been seeing over the past couple months as well. So we will see what happens there. What I can tell you is that as of today, the United States we finally reached President Biden's 70% vaccination goal. Yes, the 70% is for US adults, not for children. However, it did take us a little bit longer, almost another 30 days. I think it was 29 additional days in order to get here compared to what President Biden wanted as of to get there by July 4th. So at least we got here. Some experts are saying that we need to get to 70 to 80% of the adult vaccination goal in order to be in that herd immunity and to go back to normalcy. Well, we'll see. I don't know if anything's going to change. I honestly doubt it because the case is increasing and more lawmakers calling for additional stimulus. But what I can tell you is right now, I don't think we will go back to normal. I think mask mandates are going to come back just based off of everything that I'm reading. I did see a report today, and I just want to touch on this for a second because I think this was extremely important. There was multiple like media outlets and some of their correspondents that were actually coming out and saying that the White House is talking about a lockdown. They're specifically talking about a lockdown. Now, that isn't untrue. The White House has been talking about lockdowns. Actually today, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, she was directly asked questions about a lockdown, and she answered it. She said that the White House and the Biden administration they're not going to do another lockdown like we saw back in 2020. We're not going to do that. They're not going to shut down the economy. Too many people have been vaccinated. We are in a good place where we're rebounding. So it would actually make no sense to go back to a lockdown when there are reports, there are multiple studies saying that if you've been vaccinated, the chances of you being in the hospital and the hospitalization rate for vaccinated Americans is so low. Yes, people that do get vaccinated can still get COVID. That's just part of it. But in most cases, they're not going to the hospital. That's the only difference. So we will see what happens there. But one thing I can tell you is that there were a lot of reports saying that we are going back to lockdown. Now, I don't think we will go to a full-out lockdown and economic shutdown like we saw last year. However, I can see some states moving forward with some type of lockdown, some type of restriction, or more mask mandates. So just be prepared for that. Again, President Biden, he is pushing for a lot of things. One of the main things he's pushing for right now is let's get the infrastructure bills done, but let's also work on some type of eviction extension because right now the eviction moratorium has expired. Okay, there are some states that do have an eviction moratorium still intact. There's not very many though, just keep that in mind. What I can tell you is that right now President Biden is telling states to speed up the release of the rental assistance funds. And he wants this money out immediately. However, according to multiple experts, they are saying that they are not so optimistic that this would even happen because for months, states have been working to get their system right and to just get this in place. Now, they're getting about 7% of the funds out so far. So most do not expect this is going to happen. And some say this is most likely just a delay tactic from the Biden administration. They're pushing this off to the CDC. The CDC says, no, don't push it on us. You knew this was going to happen a month ago when we told you this will be the final time. And then Jen Psaki comes out and says, yeah, President Biden, he's speaking with the CDC and trying to come up with something. But this was on Saturday, pretty much the last day of the eviction moratorium. So it's a little bit of a delay. Most likely it's just a tactic from the Biden administration, but who knows? We will see. As I know more, I promise I'll come back on and share more. Just want to thank you guys for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll see you guys on the next one.